We put our dreams in 8 pieces of luggage.
Yep.
And we flew over the ocean, right? We had friends who were like, why are you doing this? Are you crazy? Like, you're starting all over. And it was just a leap of faith again, but it turned out beautifully and everybody's thriving. I come out with a $5,000 check.
And you're like, woo!
And I was like, I looked at the check in the car and I was like, okay, this is happening. Somebody gave me money.
Yes.
So this is a business. I think I've grown my business in 2 years, like others in 10. I don't think success is money. Success is really how accomplished you feel, how loved you feel, how well received you feel.
Everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Scaling the Gap. Today, I am so delighted to bring you a guest that I've known for several years, and she is such a badass. She has built something from the ground up in record speed and is showing up powerfully, not only as a businesswoman, but as a mother and as a wife, and she has such cool perspective to bring, and I am sure that you are going to absolutely enjoy her story and where we're going to jam today. So, Oana Molodoi, welcome to the show.
Hi, Madeleine. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited and a little bit nervous.
Don't worry. We have lots of first-time guests on the show, so I'll be kind. And our listeners are ready to be raving fans, so don't you worry. We're just going to have a great time today. So let's start it with something really, really easy. Why don't you share with our listeners a little bit about who you are and the work you do in this world?
Absolutely. So my name is Oana Molodoi. I own OM Drapes Design, a window treatments company. I'm based in Southern California in Orange County, Huntington Beach. And I've built this business up since 2020. So this is our 5th year in business. I came to this industry without any knowledge of the industry per se. Yep. I just jumped right into it. It's been a really fun ride. I've learned a lot along the way, and I love what I do. Right now, we work with a lot of interior designers, and we recently opened a showroom at the Laguna Design Center. So that's been really, really ramping up everything for us. We're excited to see where this takes us.
I love it. So I love you, just a bold, courageous person. Hey, I don't know anything. I'm just going to dive right in and learn as we go. One of my mentors used to say, Madeleine, leap and the net will appear, right? And some of it is you have to build out the net while you're trying to be caught, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty awesome. So I love this. And what made you dive into the window coverings industry just, with no experience in it?
So this is actually exactly like you're saying. I just leapt in, no net. I had no idea what's going to be in there for me. But it was during the pandemic when we bought our first home. And I was trying to actually buy window treatments, if you can believe it. And I had a few. I think I had maybe like 5 appointments. It felt like nothing clicked. And then I reached out to my cousin who has the same business in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. I was like, do you want to do my window treatment? And she was like, no, but do you want to do this as a business? Because if I know someone who would pick up a business and run with it, it's you. And it was the start of the pandemic. I was working as a CMO for a startup company who didn't make it through the pandemic. So I was actually looking for something else. My background is in advertising, sales, and marketing. And I never really imagined that I could do a business like this.
Yes.
But I was home in a new home with kids at home learning on Zoom, having to transform the house. After a couple of months, I called my cousin back and I said, I'm going to do it. My husband made a website for me. And then I remember it's so funny. So that was in July. We did the website and everything. And in September, I was like, okay, by 1st of October, I need to start selling.
Sure.
I go on my first appointment in Palos Verdes on October 2nd. I come out with a $5,000 check.
And you're like, woo!
And I was like, I looked at the check in the car and I was like, okay, this is happening. Somebody gave me money.
Yes.
So this is a business.
Yes, let's go. I love it. I love it. And you have really grown and thrived. You just said, you didn't say, oh, well, let's just make it a little hobby business. You just said, no, let's go. I want to build this into something real. And now you have a beautiful showroom and it's really taken off. So, congratulations. That is fantastic. I love it. Congratulations. And it's hard earned, right? We were talking a little bit in the green room about how hard it can be to juggle all of the different component parts, right? Because you wear a lot of hats. So let's dive into that right off. Let's start with the hard bits and then we'll get to the joyful parts here. But what has been that unexpectedly difficult part that you didn't foresee when you said that bold yes?
Right. So, you mentioned in the beginning that I'm consider myself a mom, a wife, a mother, a wife first, and then a businesswoman. A lot of the times doing this as a solopreneur on my own, it got hard. It got lonely and hard. And although my passion and my love for design and also, my resourcefulness comes from my kids, from my family, being able to be a role model for them, having them see that you can be successful no matter what you put your mind to.
Yeah.
But sometimes it gets hard to balance that life between your personal life and the business. And because I was growing my business and I'm not a tremendous growth over the kidding, I think I've grown my business in 2 years, like others in 10, 3-4 years. And now I have another leap of growth to the showroom. That I feel like it's my main hurdle when I look at, okay, how am I being true to my values of being a mother and a wife, as well as a successful businesswoman.
Yes, I love it. I love you, successful businesswoman. We're not just a businesswoman, successful businesswoman. I love that you are so conscious of the impact that you taking this bold path has on your family, right? You were sharing with me a really sweet story about your daughter, how she brags on you and her friends. Why don't you tell that to our listeners? Because it was just touched my heart. They have to hear it.
So I think she was 8 when I first started. And about 2 years ago, she was maybe 10. She was asking, Mom, did you come up with the name of your business, like OM Drapes Design? Did you make that up? Yes, I did. And she was looking around and it's like, so did you make this? Like I have draperies and I imagined it. And then when she has friends coming over, she's like, this is my mom's studio. She owns her own business. She's a designer. So she's really sweet. And I can see, that my heart grow, right? That's the reason I do that.
Yes. I mean, I have goosebumps and little tears in my eyes, I have to admit, because there's nothing more empowering than watching someone who admires you. And now that it's true for you, imagine what's going to be able to be true for her later, right?
Yes.
She's watching you do it, but she's also watching you make those sacrifices, right? We talked about that balance, right? And in entrepreneurial life, balance doesn't mean 30, 10% left for me, right? 30 for my husband, 30 for my family, 30 for my business, and now I have 10. It means some days it's 90% business, 10% family, right? Some days it's 80% family, 20% business, right? Like there's an ebb and flow. And someone explained balance to me in entrepreneurial life like a stool. It's a 3-legged stool, right? You've got your business, you've got your relationships, you've got your family, and there's 3 legs, but they're never even at the same time. It gets pretty wobbly. You can't expect to sit on it comfortably. And there's going to be seasons where more is required of you. So you have to be really intentional about when you're giving that time to something outside of the business, that it really has your full time, your full focus, and that the quality of the time that you spend is really rich, so that even if there's a little bit of an imbalance, that the richness of the time spent, it kind of compensates, right? So that you can't have, 50% of your mind preoccupied by work. You really have to be able to leave it, right? And that's where you watch, and also knowing like your daughter's watching, right? And she's learning something and she's watching you make a boundary and say, you know what, I'm leaving, I'm closing the door to the studio and now I'm stepping into mom mode, and just watching you develop that skill, because there's an agility there. Like there's a mental agility, and even like how you have to show up is different when you assume those different hats. That is teaching her exponentially more than it would if you were 100% available.
That is so true. And I do love the chair image. It's just true. It never balances right, or, it doesn't have all those three legs the same length. But,
Right.
and the thing is, you do have to balance it somehow, right?
Yes.
So somehow you have to find the means to do it, because we're in this life, in this, to fulfill all of those roles.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
right. That's right. And if you are failing in one area, you bring all of who you are to everything that you do. So you're going to bring that, failure and kind of that, we'll say like that rotten smell into other areas of your life, right? You can't just isolate it and put it into a little glass ball and only exists over there. It permeates everything. So it's really important that you honor each one of your roles and commitments in a way that feels true and authentic and correct for you, right? And what's correct for you, what feels like this is how I want to live forward, might be different from someone else's perspective. But I really love that rich awareness that there is a little bit of conflict, there is a little bit of tension in that balancing act. And while they might not all be even on any given day, in the macro, they all have to be fed, right? And flourishing and being given everything that they need. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah. And you know what? One thing comes to mind when talk about this is every December, I actually take a spa day.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I go and set my goals and, think of my next year's strategy. And I also block our vacations. Like that's something that's non-negotiable. I remember in the beginning of this year, we had a group session with a coach, and I raised my hand and I said, I have 5 vacations on my calendar because I know I need them. I work so hard, but I do need this time to be with my family, to disconnect. And that's been working. Like that has really been working. Yes, when you get back, it's a lot loose. Yes, but it's been really building me up, helping me stay connected and true to what I'm trying to build.
Yeah, I love it. And you need it. And I think there's also like, you deserve it, right? It's both. If you always just work and never get to experience the fruit of your labor, right? Never actually get to enjoy what you're building, and you're just so nose to the grindstone, then it feels like, what is it for, right? Why am I doing that? Why am I working so hard if there's no relief in it, right? And I would even take it another step forward. You need it. You deserve it. And also, it gives you something that you can't get anywhere else, right? When you really unplug and refresh, you probably come back with a lot of creative ideas. You probably come back feeling like you love your business more, not less, right? And people always worry like, oh, what's going to happen if I unplug? Beautiful things happen when you give yourself permission to do it and you plan it, right? And if you didn't put it on your calendar, probably wouldn't happen.
Absolutely. Yes.
That sort of stuff. Like, inches out. But when you put it on the calendar, note we're doing it and we honor it. And that also sends a signal to your family and to your as wife, your relationship as mother, that these are equally important relationships, if not the most important, right? You said wife, mother, then businesswoman, successful businesswoman, right? Like you put those two first. And if you don't have it on your calendar, if there's no space for it, are you really living the value that you say you do? And the answer for you is absolutely you are. So love it. Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
So I'm curious, with all of the hardships, right, that have come along the way, what was one of those unexpected, like maybe you couldn't have seen it coming, apart from the admiration from your daughter and being her role model, which is just beautiful and makes me smile ear to ear. What was one of those other unexpected gifts that the business brought you?
Looking back at all the clients we've worked with, I think that's one of the most unexpected gifts. We've given so much care to our clients, and a lot of them just became friends. And they just come back, stay in touch. The relationships and the connections have always been my thing that I care for in the business as well. And that has taken me to really unexpected paths in the business. And I'll give you an example. The showroom that we just opened, it's in a big to the trade design showroom that would not have happened if connection wasn't made and someone didn't think of me, oh, she's the best fit for here. We would love to have her here and work with us and our designers. So that type of connection with my clients, with the designers we've worked, it's been really unexpected. I had no expectation, but I did put everything in there, all the care and all the customer service that's to be at the highest level. Returns all this love back.
Yes, that's right. There's a beautiful saying that I learned many years ago, and I've just owned it. I love it. So the universe cannot be outdone in generosity, right? When we pour it out and we give it, it's going to come back to us. And so you've been pouring all this love on your clients and all this love on your connections and with such care and consideration. And here it returns to you in a way you could never have imagined, right? That is so beautiful. And I'm always work with a coach as well. I have a coach, and she said to me, Madeleine, sometimes you're going to pour effort over here, effort over here, effort over here, and it's going to suddenly pop up over here. The result is going to show in a totally different area than where you thought it would. And allowing it, being able to spot it when it shows up, even if it wasn't what you expected or how you expected it to look, is what can sometimes help you make that to work with a coach as well. I have a coach, and she said to me, Madeleine, sometimes you're going to pour effort over here, effort over here, effort over here, and it's going to suddenly pop up over here. The result is going to show in a totally different area than where you thought it would. And allowing it, being able to spot it when it shows up, even if it wasn't what you expected or how you expected it to look, is what can sometimes help you make that quantum leap forward, where if you squeeze so tight to what you thought it would be, then there's no room for the magic. And it looks like you just had a magic moment with that beautiful connection that flourished into a showroom.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Pretty cool. I love this for you. And I also have really appreciated, you mentioned to me that you are living the American dream and that this is really important to you. Why don't you share a little bit about that with our listeners as well?
Sure. So we came here from Romania only 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So for us, we put our dreams in 8 pieces of luggage.
Yeah.
And we flew over the ocean, right? Seas and whatever, a lot more in between. My husband is Romanian. My kids were born in Romania. They were 2 and 6 when we came here. And I have to say, being a business owner, a small business owner, and having this business and seeing my kids thrive, it really is the American dream to us. Speaks to being an immigrant who became successful. And just so you understand, in Romania, I owned a business in Romania. It was completely different. It was a publishing business. So we were very well off. We just wanted a different life for our kids. And our kids thank us every time. Mom, thank you for coming here for us.
Wow. That's really cool. Oh my gosh. Your kids have really been so catalytic for you in so many ways. And it feels like that idea of like pouring in love and getting love back, it's just showing up exponentially in your family too. So yeah,
it is
a good lesson for those of you listening that, don't be skimpy on pouring in love, right? Maximize your pouring out of love as you can, because it's just going to return in these really beautiful and unexpected ways. But it doesn't mean that it's easy, right? I'm sure that was a scary thing to do, to pack up everything you own in 8 suitcases. That I'm sure there's a very vivid picture for you in your mind, because that's a significant leap of faith to make.
Yes, actually, we had friends who were like, why are you doing this? Are you crazy? Like, you're starting all over. And it was just a leap of faith again, but it turned out beautifully and everybody's thriving.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is so interesting. All of these little threads of leaping and of pouring in love and of finding these unexpected blessings along the way, of being mindful of where those hurdles are, but not letting it derail you, right? And strategies, right? You see this time hurdle and this balance hurdle, and part of your strategy is to book things into your calendar to resolve some of that tension, right? So having a very clear-minded approach to resolving some of the hurdles proactively instead of letting it just be like standing in panic with your hands up to the ceiling, hoping it works out, right? Is a really wise approach, because if you don't plan proactively, then you're going to be in a reactive place and you're not going to make your best decisions from that space anyways. So there's a symmetry in how this opportunities and the speed of your business growth has happened because of these more thoughtful, even though scary, even though leaping with no net movements, but they've been thoughtful and considered and very intentional at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I am so curious now. This is my flagship question. I always have to ask, and I'm excited for what you're going to say. With all of the ups and downs and the leaping and the fear and the overcoming of the fear, do you in this moment consider yourself to be successful?
I do. I feel the measure of success is in looking around, talking to the kids, the family, checking in and how well everybody's doing. But also business-wise, I really did not think I could accomplish what I did in such a short span of time.
Yes.
So I have an MBA and I look at it as a business. And when I first started this, I was thinking, finally I get to put my MBA to work and really own the business and be able to apply everything I know. And that is the measure of success. I've learned to do things and now I'm applying them. And with all the struggles of balancing it, I feel like overall there's so much joy in everything.
Yes.
Did I answer your question?
I love it.
And a lot of your other podcasts, and when you talk about success, to some people it means money, but overall I don't think success is money. Success is really how accomplished you feel, how loved you feel, how well received you feel. For me and my company, this is very successful. I feel like my clients love us, my clients refer us, they're there for us, we're there for them. This is what I call success.
I love it. So since you've listened in, and those of you listening at home, I always backwards engineer a success algorithm for each one of my guests, because, you are absolutely right, Oana. Absolutely right. Success is not about money, right? Only the people who haven't yet been successful or who haven't understood that success is an inner game measure success in dollars, right? I call it the cheapest measure of success because anyone can get money, right? You could get money by robbing a bank. That did not make you successful. That actually made you a villain, okay? That made you a fugitive from the law if you did not get caught yet, right? So just having money itself doesn't translate into being successful. Success is a state of being. It's not a state of doing. It's not a state of achieving. And all of these different component parts that everyone brings to the table in their conversations allow us to explore deeper what that means for each individual human, right? Because we all have different needs and capacities and gifts and different longings kind of crafted into our hearts. And when we are living aligned with those longings and when we're fulfilling those kind of inner promptings of our soul, then we're going to feel that resonance with success, right? And if we're not, then we're going to feel right? And so I have put together your own personal success algorithm. And I think this is a really fun one. So I'm excited to share it with you. And of course, if we don't get it right, we can tweak all the pieces, right? So we'll see if we get it and let's see what we can come up with. So here's what I think. For Oana, success equals impacting the well-being of those around me, being a powerful role model to my children, rich relationships and connections, capacity to apply what I know in real time, embracing the joy, spreading love, and being deeply loved.
Oh, I love it. That's exactly. Can I copy it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is me.
I love it. Feels so congruent with what you've said. It always is interesting to me the threads that people weave as they're telling their story, as they're sharing their struggles, as they're sharing their delights along the way, always come back kind of full circle. And when you started talking to me earlier about these relationships that just unexpectedly blossom forth these cool opportunities, I already wrote down relationships and connections. And then I wrote down different, so I captured little different pieces of you as you're chatting with me, because again, you bring all of who you are to everything you do. And when we're really talking about what moves your heart, what moves your soul, you can't help but say the truth, right? Like say what's actually real for you. I think that this is so beautiful. I loved the little addition you made at the end about not just spreading love, but also being loved. And that applies to you and your relationships, in your marriage, with your children, with your vendors, with your clients, with your everyone, and also having the business itself being loved. Right? Because even though you are the creator of the business, you are the founder, you're the one running it, it actually isn't you. It's a separate entity. And being loved, it applies to you as a human, but it also applies to the organic component parts of your business that you've created. So it's kind of a compounding effect that we just kind of snuck in there as that last component part of your algorithm. And I think it's really powerful.
I love it. And I have to tell you something. I knew you were going to ask this question, and I made an effort not to think of it. Like I just really wanted to see what comes up for me. I did not have anything written or planned.
Yep.
I just wanted it to be very organic, and you captured it perfectly. So thank you.
Oh, I love that. I have different types of guests on the show. Some guests, one of my guests is like, I've thought about this way more than I should have. I know. Right? He pondered it for so long because for him, it really dredged up something inside. Sometimes being asked if you consider yourself successful means that you have to grapple with some areas where you don't feel successful, some areas where you might not feel like you've made it, right? Or where you aren't living up to your own measure of success, right? And that can be really confronting. And sometimes that, for different people, that can be something that they have to make peace with. And some people show up on the show and they haven't made peace with it yet, right? Because they're still in the process, right? That's one of the delights of life, I feel, that we get to both be who we're becoming and always be becoming.
Yes.
That would be a weird tongue twister. That is like that process of understanding where you're going and constantly stepping into that, and still always having someone else, somewhere else that you're moving towards, right? So this constant being and becoming process. And some of that is leaving behind old things, or leaving, like maybe there's parts of the journey, like did it. And other things like, didn't actually do that bit that I had intended, right? So it can be really confronting for people. So I appreciate this organic flow of what you really allowed it to come out of your heart. And what a beautiful result. What a beautiful result. Nicely done. Really nice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Oh, I'm so glad. It's been so delightful to have you on the show. See, guys, I told you were going to love her. And this is amazing. I hope that this has enriched your day. So if people want to follow you, find out more about your business, find out more about you, where can they find you?
Instagram at OM Drapes Design, or the website www.omdrapesdesign.com.
Wonderful. We'll link those both in the show notes so that you're easy to find. And I would highly encourage you all to follow Oana and her journey. This has been just the beginning, right? We're only 5 years in, right? Imagine what's going to happen in another 5 years. It's just going to be so delightful. So congratulations on all of your success. It has been such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was really all mine.
Oh, lovely. And for those of you listening from home, I want you to think about this concept of spreading love and being loved. Business, yes, there's all the structure and the process and all of the stuff you've got to do, right? There's the tactical components of success, but there is a transformational part of success as well. The parts where you get to grow into the person that you've always wanted to be, someone who younger you would have admired and would have been like, oh, that was amazing. I'd love to be like that. You can do that. You can be that, right? Oana and I are living proof. I, for sure, today am the woman that younger Madeleine would want to have been, right? I know that for sure. And I'm sure that's true of you too, right? If younger version of you could see you today, be like, heck yeah, right? It's not what you imagined, right? When you were having your publishing business or your publishing business, I'm sure you could never have imagined this, but it's kind of this whole gift to yourself of this or something better. So as you at home are thinking about where are you both spreading love and being loved, and is what you're doing fulfilling that within you? Because if it's not, really think hard about why you're doing what you're doing, because life is short, right? And we have only such amount of time to do our beautiful work in this world. And I don't want you to waste a single minute of it doing work that doesn't become you. So with that, I want to wish you all a very powerful day today. I'll catch you on the next episode.